to our wonderful audience members, what podcastees? I don't know. What do we call them, Myrna? Our
They're our
friends,
friends.
our
Yeah.
Apocrypha rules friends.
There we go.
We're so happy that you guys are with us again. And we're going to be getting back into Jubilee chapter 6. We're going to be talking stuff about Noah. But before we get into it, we always like to share a little bit about us because we like to share about us for you to get to know us, to see what makes us tick. And today, I'm going to ask you, Myrna, something. And it's not kind of our typical question that we've had yet, but here it goes.
Okay.
In your daily routine, Myrna,
Mm-hmm.
what is one thing that you're like, man, I just wish I didn't have to do that. I just wish I could eliminate it. I just wish it wasn't there because I can't stand doing it. Or even in your
Ooh.
weekly routine,
Ooh.
what is it that
Um,
you can't stand?
okay. Well, I don't have anything like daily that
Okay.
I just cannot stand,
Okay. That's good.
but I do weekly.
Okay. What is
And
it?
it won't surprise you, but
Okay.
that's wearing my dress to church. I seriously would love that to be changed. It will never be changed because I understand
Oh
the
my
concept
gosh.
of why the women wear dress.
Right.
I get
Right.
it. But if it could be eliminated, I'd be a little bit happier to go to church. I'm just
So yours,
saying.
you would end a little bit of your stinker pottery.
Well, yeah, because I'll be honest. I'll be honest. Church is not my favorite thing. I'll be honest. I know
Okay.
that might sound.
Okay.
Someone might be surprised to hear that because,
Blasphemy.
but
No, not really.
the reason is a lot has to do with wearing a dress, and the other is I just think of things that would be more fun to
Mm-hmm.
do because
Uh-huh.
if I don't have to give a
Sure.
lesson or I don't have something to
Mm-hmm.
do, it's not fun. Okay.
Okay.
I love all the people in my work. Don't get me wrong, but
Okay.
it's not like fun. I like to
Fun.
have
Okay.
fun. Anyway, so it's not my favorite thing to do, but and so sometimes before church, I keep thinking, and this is stinkery of me, but that's just
Okay.
how I am. I think of excuses of why I don't need to go to church today.
All right. That was unexpected.
our,
All right.
our,
Fair. Fair though.
our,
Fair.
our church isn't till noon, so I have a lot of time to
Okay.
think of
Yeah,
an
you do have a
excuse.
lot of you have a lot of time to think of excuses. Okay. I get you. I get you.
But I don't have one very often. Um, Football
All
used to be
right.
my excuse, but
Mm-hmm.
I can't justify it anymore, so it's not
Okay.
always my excuse. So anyway,
Okay.
so I don't have anything daily, but I do weekly. I
Okay.
loathe even having a dress in my
Okay.
closet, let alone putting it on my
Okay.
body.
Okay.
So what about you?
So, okay, so mine, I'm going to be fully honest, man.
Yes.
I can do a lot of tasks during the day. Of course, when you're doing housework, I've been a stay-at-home mom for the last 30 years or so, maybe not 30, 20 at least. And of all the things on a daily, I don't take the trash out. I cannot stand taking the trash out. I
Oh,
don't know
that's not my
why.
job.
I can pack that thing so full
Mm-hmm.
that stuff is now falling out of it, and I
Mm-hmm.
still won't take the trash.
I
I'm
understand you,
like,
sister.
someone else needs to do it because mama don't do trash.
I don't take out the trash. I tell
I
my husband it's your turn.
and
The trash needs to
and
go out.
and the thing is that of most of my friends know, audience, now you know, I do not really have a sense of smell. So you would think maybe it's because she can't stand the smell. Maybe the stuff in there makes me gag. No, I just don't like packaging it, walking out, putting it in, dealing with stuffing it all into the trash can, coming back in, washing up. There's something about it that just grates my nerves. And if it is so bad and no one has done it and you make me do it because I'm trying to do things and it literally is not working. Oh, you gonna meet a new person. You're gonna be like, sorry, dinner didn't get done because nobody took out the trash.
You think the garbage is overflowing. Mama's overflowing when she has to
Mama
take out the
needs to
trash.
sit down and do her puzzle and no one talk to me and y'all are I don't care what you eat for dinner. I don't know what you're doing. Have cereal, have pancakes. You do it, mom's done. You pushed me too far.
There
That's
you
how I
go.
feel about trash.
All right.
But I do take it out of my bathroom because I don't know why. My bathroom, okay. House trash, not okay. Now you've
Well, your
gotten to know
bathroom,
us.
well, your bathroom trash, you have helped, accumulate most of it.
Yeah. I
Um,
don't know why. Maybe
your
because it's in
kitchen
a small
trash,
bag.
it's everybody
Yeah.
else's job.
Yep.
All
So
right.
there we
Well,
go.
there
Now
you go.
you
You
know
learned
something.
some of our
Some
pet peeves.
some of our pet peeves, and they're for real. They're for real.
And, I will tell you, because today actually is vote day, but here's what I will say. The only time I would vote for a woman, only because she's a woman, okay?
Uh-huh.
And I'm not telling you how I voted, but if a lot of people say I'm voting for Kamala because she's a woman, well, that's stupid. You don't ever vote for somebody by what gender they are. Anyway, the only reason I would vote for someone, for a female to be president, just because she's a female, is if
Uh-huh.
she was able to send out a law that went countrywide that said women are not allowed to wear dresses, and I would be right in line with voting for her. That would be me. Otherwise, they best be telling me what they're going to do. Otherwise, I'm going to vote for who's going to do the best job, not for what
Oh
gender
my
they
gosh.
are. Sorry, I went off a
I
tangent.
like where your boundary lines are, my friend. I like where your boundary lines are.
There you go. All right, should we get started?
So deep seated right there. Yes, let's get started. Let's get started talking about Noah and what God starts to tell him about the things once the water has receded. These are the new kind
Yeah.
of rules and things he needs to do.
All right.
Okay, I guess I will start.
Okay.
And on the new moon of the 3rd month, he went forth from the ark and built an altar on that mountain. And he made atonement for the earth, and took a kid and made atonement by its blood for all the guilt of the earth. For everything that had been on it had been destroyed, save those that were in the ark with Noah. And he placed the fat thereof on the altar. And he took an ox, and a goat, and a sheep, and kids, and salt, and a turtle dove, and the young of a dove, and placed a burnt sacrifice on the altar, and poured thereon an offering mingled with oil, and sprinkled wine, and strewed frankincense over everything, and caused a goodly savor to arise, acceptable before the Lord. Okay,
Okay.
I'm going
So
to
first of
go.
all, we have to. I
Mhm,
think it's understood, but we better say
mhm.
that when they're saying kid, they're not talking about a human child.
Correct. Good point, Myrna. It's a
Um,
it's a baby goat, right?
sheep.
Baby sheep. Sorry.
But
It's a
here's
baby
my
sheep.
question about the whole
Yep.
thing. Okay, so he he talks about having baby sheep kids, right? And he
Mhm.
brings the kids as part of the
Mhm.
offering along with the ox and the goat and turtle
Mhm.
dove and young
Mhm.
dove. So did these animals have babies?
It sounds like there were babies on board.
Because I don't remember ever reading that
I don't
they
either.
they had they had
Babies.
animals while they were in the ark. And my brain didn't even think about that. I thought they would be chased
Nope.
little animals that were put on the ark, and they they
All
kept
right,
their
Myrna.
law of chastity until they got off the ark. Sorry, I was a little naive, but it's
Mm,
interesting that we have there's young doves, right? So those are
mm-hmm.
baby doves. There's kids. Um,
Well,
so
I have to now say it, Myrna. What else are they supposed to do on long winter nights? In the
yeah,
ark,
yeah.
what are they supposed
I
to do?
guess. I guess.
Have
That.
babies?
I mean,
Uh,
I'm not trying. Seriously, I never thought about it.
Neither
Um,
did I, and
that's
until I read
interesting.
this.
It's
It
interesting.
is. I will say to
Okay.
you though that as I read that, every time I read something of like a goodly savor arises because they're making these sacrifices, every time he lists all this, it just sounds like a dinner. Like a
Yeah,
little
but they
bit of
don't
goat.
eat it.
I know, but it sounds a little good. Like,
Yeah.
it sounds like a really good recipe and the frankincense and all these great smells going up to heaven. I'm like, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's a. If I can be honest, it's a lot of work for someone to
It
not
is a
eat
lot
it.
of work to not even eat it, right? Maybe
Yeah.
that's part of the sacrifice, all the good smells, and you don't eat it.
Never thought of that.
Nope, I just came up with that off the top of my head. So,
Okay. Well, that
gonna
sounds
have
pretty
to
good.
process
Good.
that one.
Okay.
But it does, I mean, the food had wine in it, a little bit of oil, some
hmm
spices, all of the
hmm
different meats, and
Yeah.
I find it interesting, though, that it says it here again, that the savor goes that smell, because it is a smell, it's a
Yeah.
it's one of our senses, that it goes up to God, and I don't think of smells as going up to God, like he smells things.
Yeah. You'd think they'd dissipate a little bit before they got there.
Yeah, but I guess in part, even though from an being a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, in our doctrine, we believe that God has a physical body. We believe that
Right.
Heavenly
Right.
Father has a physical body and
Right.
that his son Jesus Christ resurrected has a physical body.
Now. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I guess I only think about them as maybe touching things, but not like tasting and smelling things.
I'll be honest, I'm not even sure that I even think about them touching things. I
Really?
know that they have, I know that
Yeah.
they have, and I do believe that they do have their physical bodies. But for some reason, that never comes into my mind as affecting anything they do, right?
Yeah.
I don't think of it at all ever, right? Like this does make me think, oh yeah, he does have a nose, so he can smell it, right?
Right, and so
Um, but I never ever think of their physical bodies
mm,
when
doing
I
things.
yeah doing things or
Well, because
but I don't think of them as a spirit either. I guess I just don't really even see physical interactions with them in my mind. Um, they just are
and
God and Jesus Christ to me.
right, but I think that could be in part because we think of them as all-knowing. We think of their mind.
Yeah, yeah.
They're all-knowing, they love us, they have emotions, but that's their emotions and their thoughts. But I guess this just has become a little interesting to more often think about them in a physical form.
Yeah, yeah,
And I find it interesting that it's a choice here, at least in the Apocrypha, that there's this idea of a physical form that he smells these savors and they're good. I
yeah.
find it interesting because at this point,
No, I
there
agree.
aren't a lot of smells happening
I
except the
would
very
think so.
clean earth.
Yeah, yeah. The leftover rain smell, right?
hmm So I guess it just
All
makes
right.
me think to go back into the Bible or when I'm reading the Bible or the Book of Mormon or the Pearl of Great Price to catch maybe more moments where more descriptive words are used of smell and touch and sight and stuff to maybe understand my Heavenly Father and Jesus Christ a little bit more. I guess that's what
Yeah.
it's doing to me.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go on.
Okay. All right. 4. And the Lord smelt the goodly savor, and he made a covenant with him that there should not be any more a flood to destroy the earth, that all the days of the earth, seed time and harvest, should never cease. Cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night should not change their order, nor cease forever. And you increase ye and multiply upon the earth, and become many upon it, and be a blessing upon it. The fear of you and the dread of you I will inspire in everything that is on earth and in the sea. And behold, I have given unto you all beasts, and all winged things, and everything that moves on the earth, and the fish in the waters, and all things for food. As the green herbs, I have given you all things to eat.
Okay.
Okay, so
So
why is he going to make people fear him and dread him?
I do not have an answer to. However, I will say that I give unto all beasts and all winged things is very reminiscent that Adam's dominion over that has now been passed to Noah.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's the next era or next um line
Father, so to
of,
speak.
yeah, father of the earth. That was very, that to me is what how that read. But the fear, I don't know. I mean, he kind of is the main man now. The part for me that was
Because if
interesting, yeah, go ahead.
if I remember right, he didn't do that with Adam, right? He didn't put the fear of the animals being afraid
No.
of him, but they're putting the fear of all those animals and everything in them to be afraid of Noah. But
Yeah,
yet Noah just
interesting.
saved them. Yeah, I don't know. That's that. Yeah,
That's, it seems out of place to me.
yeah, it does. It seems like we're missing something to explain why.
Yes.
I
I
think so.
agree.
But I do love that he's given us all these things for food.
Yes, right? Um and all things for food as the green, also all the plants or the herbs.
The herbs.
I will say, did what did you think of at the end of verse 4? And day and night should not change their order nor cease forever. Why were they changing their order before? Were they not set in stone before?
Yeah, I don't know. Um, what popped out into my head
Uh-huh.
is he said cold and heat and summer and winter. That's a whole lot of cold in comparison to warmth. We
Right.
said cold twice. We said warmth once. Myrna
Mhm.
needs more warmth than cold. Um,
Yes.
so I did that. Just lodged into my head because I'm cold all the time when it comes to any time after September. I'm cold
Right.
almost every single day because
Right.
I'm I don't
So,
know. Am I warm blooded then? I guess is it a warm blooded person that gets cold, or is it cold blooded?
no, it's a cold-blooded person who gets cold. They don't
Okay,
have cold-blooded animals don't have the ability to create internal heat, they have to get it externally. And so they have to get into hot
okay,
areas to get it. Otherwise, they tend to hibernate because
okay.
they're
Well,
so cold. Their body temperature lowers and they kind of go sleepy, sleepy ish.
yeah, there's something wrong with me.
Okay,
I'm cold all the time. Anyway, that's the part
some
I
people are like
noticed.
that. Okay, interesting. So I I don't know what to make of that they should not change their order. Like, it makes me wonder, were they just planting their seeds all the time and it was always harvest season? There was
Well,
never a summer.
I'm kind of wondering if there was not a certain amount of time.
See, that's what I'm saying. We get to this time issue again that we've talked about. That
Yeah.
there's something almost strange about the time, but it seemed like him mentioning that kind of says time will be consistent now.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I get from it is that um, time will not change now.
So I'm going to throw out a theory. This is
Okay.
theory
Throw it out.
time.
Throw it out.
So, is it then possible that the Earth isn't 5 billion years old because of this situation? That until Noah with the flood happened, it didn't have the times and the seasons. Time was not what it is after Noah had the flood and was then upon the earth.
Okay. This is a tangent, though. Do you want me to tell you my theory of time?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
The aging of the earth?
Yes.
Okay. This is my theory.
Okay.
We know that the earth was made from already existing material.
Yes.
God didn't just make the earth. Christ didn't just make the earth.
Because matter is
Okay?
not destroyed.
Right. He just took and reorganized matter
Yep.
into the earth. So
Mm-hmm.
I think the different parts of the earth are different ages. So depending on where you take your measurement, and this
Mm-hmm.
is why we've had many different
Mm-hmm.
measurements of how old the earth is. No one can
Mm-hmm.
agree because they take them from different spaces and different places on the earth, and those
Mm-hmm.
different parts of the earth have come from different places and maybe different
In the
ages.
universe. I get it.
Mhm.
I get
And
it.
so that's my theory as to why we think we know how old the earth is, but we really don't, because then someone takes another measurement and we get a whole nother timeline. And I think it's because the material is all different that it was put into one. And so we get different ages. So we really don't know how old our earth is.
Interesting. Except for what the scriptures tell us.
Right. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. I'll let you have that tangent theory. I mean, scientists really can't fully explain it.
Yeah.
So why not have other theories out there? I just
I
found
mean,
it in go ahead.
I was just going to say, I mean, the only way they started really kind of measuring time
Mhm.
was, by the birth of Christ. That's how they
Right.
started measuring time forwards and backwards, right?
Mhm.
So
It
in
is.
reality, we really don't
Well,
know
the calendar we use. There
that we
are
use.
other calendars. The Jews have their own calendar. The Greeks have it is now considered the standard one according to where Christ was.
Right.
However, it's this time issue because when you do the radiocarbon dating, it's
Mm-hmm.
because they say the decay of carbon has always been this at a
It's
constant
consistent.
rate, and
Mm-hmm.
so they calculate it and say therefore that's the date. What my suggestion is maybe it hasn't always been constant
Right. No, I agree
because
with that.
of what
I
this
agree
just
with that.
said. Because of
Mhm.
what this just said right
I
here.
agree. I agree with that. Because also, we read before in
Mhm.
both in the
And the
life of
life of
Adam and
Adam and Eve.
Eve and in the earlier in Jubilees, they didn't take 9 months to have a child.
Yeah. They
Okay,
didn't take
so
time.
things were different.
Different. Mhm.
I believe for a while there, and
Mhm.
maybe
It
this is
was
what the
like
Lord's putting
instant.
it, what the Lord's putting into motion here is a
Mm.
constant rate of growth. But
Mhm.
I think that before that, they were using God's time.
It's
They were
very
not using
plausible.
our time. And so I
Mhm.
think you might be right. And God now is setting up our time in this earth.
To be
in
consistent
to
and
be
linear in that.
consistent. Yeah.
Not
And
that
so
it
if you
wasn't
can
linear,
do
but just a consistent thing.
a way to measure,
Yes.
a way to measure. And so you get this carbon dating, maybe really that carbon dating is just actually back to Noah, not back to Adam and Eve.
Right. That's kind of my
I
suggestion
I
here.
I actually like that. I think that goes hand in hand with the way the Earth was put together.
Well, because they do radiocarbon dating back to a certain point, and they have like, well, it's between 6 to 800 years because they can't pin it
Yeah.
down, where the newer stuff they seem to more pin it down. And so my thought is, well, what if things weren't always so constant? You're assuming consistency,
Yeah. Mhm.
but God has his own ways. So
Yeah.
that
No,
was
I
my
like that.
little
I
tangent.
like
I
that.
like
I
your
like that.
theory too, by the way. So let's continue.
Let's go.
Verse 7. But flesh with the life thereof, with the blood, ye shall not eat. For the life of all flesh is in the blood, lest your blood of your lives be required. At the hand of every man, at the hand of every beast will I require the blood of man. Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. For in the image of God made he man. And you increase ye and multiply on the earth. Now, I will admit that when he says, with the blood ye shall not eat, I believe it means you shouldn't like be drinking the blood of these creatures.
Yeah, possibly, but also then it says, uh, where did it go? But flesh with the life thereof, with the blood ye shall not eat. So that's saying to me you shouldn't eat the flesh either. So that's confusing because just a couple of verses ahead, he told
Yeah,
us that the
he
animals
said,
were for us to eat.
correct.
So that's confusing to me because here it seems to be not only that you don't drink the blood, but you don't eat the flesh either.
Yeah,
But
that part is
but
confusing.
but ahead he just got through saying that the animals are for our us to eat. So that's
Right.
confusing to me. So um
If
I think possibly it really is just talking about not drinking the blood, right?
the
Not
blood.
eating the blood. But the way it's
Mhm.
worded is
Yes.
confusing.
And I'm not sure what the lest your blood of you, oh sorry, lest your blood of your lives be required. I'm not sure
Well,
what
if
that is
you
trying to say.
I to me, this is what I think it is saying is if you kill another man, then in order for you to uh, be back in my good graces,
Graces. It
your blood has
seems
to
to
be
say,
uh, it will
uh,
be required. Your blood would be required. That's what it seems to me. But I could be wrong.
uh, I think that the next sentence, at the hand of every man, at the hand of every beast will I require the blood of man. Who sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. That says that to me. Like,
Yeah,
it seems straightforward there, where lest your blood of your lives be required doesn't fully feel like a full sentence.
yeah,
I will say, let's put it out to anyone listening. If you can come up with a reasonable, like, what do you think that sentence really means? I'd love input.
yeah. Because it seems to me like either this is an old form of speaking using
Yes.
you know
Mm-hmm.
English words,
A more
right?
archaic, mm-hmm,
Yeah,
version.
or and therefore we can't totally understand it, or we really aren't supposed to be eating the animals. But we've always
It
understood that the animals were given to us to eat, so that seems really
yes.
weird to me. But
Yes. And we also know that eventually, uh, aren't there quail that his Moses's time, right? When they're wandering, they get the manna from heaven, don't they get quail?
um, I'm not sure it's
No.
quail. It's some type of flesh that they ate, some type of bird. I'm not sure if it's quail or not.
Let me see, I'm looking it up. It says in Numbers that Moses and the leaders of Israel went back to the camp, and a wind set in motion by God swept quails in from the sea.
Okay.
So, I'm going to say that means they ate meat.
Yeah.
And God brought them.
Yeah.
So, I will
Yeah.
say
So
though,
there's some
don't
controversy
drink
about.
don't drink the blood. We know that there have been civilizations that have sacrificed human beings, bad according to this, and
Yeah.
that they've drunk the blood of people and animals, bad. And I'm going to
Mhm.
say vampires, bad. They're not supposed to be drinking blood.
I would totally agree with that. I don't think that. Have I ever told you our story in Sunday school when Ernie and I were teaching Sunday school?
Oh, I feel like this is going to be a good one. No. Does it
We
have to
were
do with
talking.
vampires?
It does. We were talking about the plan of salvation in Sunday school, and we were teaching the
Okay.
15, 16, 17-year-old
Okay.
kids.
All right.
Okay. And so we were talking about the plan of salvation and talking
Yep.
about,
Mm-hmm.
who goes where and what and all of
Yep.
that kind of stuff. And then one guy raises his hand,
Of course he does.
and and
Hello,
I, and I
brother
said,
and
yes.
sister.
I said yes, and he says, "Where did the vampires go?" And I love my husband, but he doesn't read the room very often, and
Uh-huh.
he just spits out, "Well, nowhere, because there aren't anything called vampires. They're not real." And the kid just kind of sat there, and then other kids in the class were kind of a little nervous or whatever. And then so I just went on teaching, right? And then afterwards, I grabbed one of the girls in the class and I said, "What happened?" And he goes, "Oh, he believes he's a vampire. So you really hurt his feelings." He never came back to class. And he was actually the bishop's son. So I felt really bad. Anyway, all right. There you go. So yeah, we've had that experience. I
I
don't
gotta
know if he
process that
ever
one, Myrna. I gotta
I don't know
process that one.
I don't know if he ever, participated in a ceremony where he drank blood, but yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that one I will never
Mm.
forget that in my life. I
Yeah.
still know where we're in a different building. We've been in like 3, 4 buildings
Do you
since,
know that?
but I can still see
Yep.
exactly which room in my
Yep.
head where we were
Yep.
in that building.
Okay. So that's for reals. That
It
just
really
happened.
happened.
He
Anyway,
believes he's
there
a
you go.
vampire, and
And they're not in
and
our
so
word, so
you
I
really
haven't got to.
disappointed him for saying that they weren't real. You just
Yeah.
ixnayed his existence.
Yes, yes. And they're not in our ward anymore, so I don't really know what's happened with the
With
with
him.
them with them as
Maybe
they
it
grew
was
up
a
or anything like
phase. Maybe it was a
that.
phase.
I'm kind of hoping it was
Mhm.
because I can see he's a good kid.
Yeah.
I could tell he's a good kid, but yeah. So
Okay.
and
That that was worth it, Myrna.
I
That
probably
was
would not
worth
have
it.
handled it that way, but that's the way my husband handled it, and I couldn't
And-
stop him, and he just blurted it out. I was like,
Yep.
all right, honey.
Okay.
Let me save this. How do I save this? Anyway, let's
Didn't
move
know it
on.
needed to be saved. The vampires need to be saved.
I don't think that, according to this, I don't think God's
Yeah.
really wanting to save them because they're
Because
not
they're
getting
drinking
possessed.
blood.
Yeah, it's like a no,
Yep.
a big
So now
no.
we know the no drinking blood and don't murder people.
Yeah, or possibly
Mm-hmm.
you will have to give your life to repent.
Yes.
Okay, we ready to move on now?
Yeah, yes, we are. So
Um,
beautiful.
it was a beautiful story. Um,
Thank
It was
you. The
very it
world
was very
needed that.
awkward.
The
It was
world
very
needed that, Myrna.
it was really awkward and hard in the room, but okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go on now. And Noah and his sons swore that they would not eat any blood that was in any flesh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And he made a covenant before the Lord God forever throughout all the generations of the earth in this month. On this account he spake to thee that thou shouldest make a covenant with the children of Israel in this month upon the mountain with an oath, and that thou shouldest sprinkle blood upon them. Oh, thou shouldest sprinkle blood upon them because of all the words of the covenant which the Lord made with them forever. And this testimony is written concerning you, that you should observe it continually, so that you should not eat on any day any blood of beasts or birds or cattle during all the days of the earth. And the man who eats the blood of beasts or of cattle or of birds during all the days of the earth, he and his seed shall be rooted out of the land, of all the land.
Okay.
Um, I'm very confused.
So I think it's because of the phrasing, do
Yeah.
not eat any blood that was in any flesh. So all I do is picture a lamb, right? And when you go to slaughter it, or we'll say deer, because I'm a little more familiar per se with that, you hang the deer up and
Mm-hmm.
you bleed it.
Mm-hmm.
And you bleed all of the blood out of that animal.
Mm-hmm.
And then you carve it up for your pieces. And that's what it brings to mind. You should not eat of the animal when it still has the flesh, when it still has the blood in the flesh.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just take a deer, carve out a section, and start cooking and eating it. Like, it's almost saying it has to be bled first. If you do, there's a
Maybe.
problem.
Maybe.
Or
Um,
that eat is again more like
yeah.
the blood. It should
See,
it seems
the
more like
word eat, the word eat is what I think
mm,
my brain is confused with because you can't
yes.
eat blood, right? You drink it. So
Correct.
you might be actually correct that you don't
Mhm.
get all the blood out of the meat before
Mhm.
you eat it, right? Um,
Mhm.
so maybe I shouldn't be eating my steaks rare. I don't know.
Yes,
Or medium rare.
but
Um,
even then they have drained the blood from the animal in order to carve it all up.
yeah, but it all doesn't come out.
Yeah. So maybe you shouldn't eat it rare.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Sorry, rare eating people out there, the Apocrypha. If you have a different interpretation, I would love to understand and hear it. But it almost feels like um there is something in that. Because
Yeah.
remember, he taught Adam from the beginning to till the earth. This
Yeah.
really seems to be like the animals were for sacrifices.
Yeah.
And they were told, yes, you can eat of them, but maybe this is the instructions a little more on how you eat of them.
Yeah.
But it's
Can we
still
go?
confusing.
Yes. Can we move on
Yes.
to this oath? We're making
Yes,
an
we
oath
can.
to not eat of the blood, but yet we're going to sprinkle the blood on the children to make the oath to not eat the blood. That
I'm
really is confusing
I
to me.
can't I'm sorry, Myrna, because every time I'm like looking at that part, all I can think of is the movie Carrie. I'm sorry, people.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like that does seem a strange thing. However, we do baptize people in water for a sign of the covenant, right? Water, the deluge.
Yeah, but we don't say anything about not drinking of water.
Yeah, I know.
It's the and I think the word is correct. It's the paradox where you're saying don't drink or
The
eat
blood.
of the blood, but and promise that you're not going to do it, and with that promise we'll sprinkle the blood on you. That to me that's like um confusing, and maybe that's just another thing to put on my list to talk to Heavenly Father about when I get up there.
A new
Um,
thing.
a new thing. I got one thing taken off, so now
Yeah.
maybe I have room for another one to go on.
And remember though, that doesn't mean that this is accurate.
Right? Yeah, I know. I know. I'm just
So
saying.
I just throwing that again out to our audience because sometimes when we talk, we are talking about this as if it was accurate. Maybe
Yeah.
because that seems like an odd thing to do.
Yeah. It
But
doesn't.
they
It doesn't
did
make sense.
but they did sprinkle the blood over the posts, right? In the Bible.
Yes. Yeah.
Um so blood has been sprinkled places. This just
Yeah.
happens to be on them. I
Hmm.
would not enjoy that one. No.
Yeah. Um, I'm not saying it's not real. I'm just saying
Yes.
it just seems really weird to me. But maybe if this is real, maybe at that time frame it wouldn't be weird.
Maybe.
Maybe
Well,
it is just always the way you make a covenant is some type of a blood offering to God. I don't know. That's what
and
over the
uh-huh.
doorways on the
Well,
Passover is because that told them that to go
yes.
to not go in the house, right? So it was
Right.
a sign, and maybe
Yes.
blood of animals is a sign in God's way of communicating in somehow. I don't know. Maybe it's
Well,
probably something from olden times that we
the
just can't understand.
the interesting thing is once Christ came and atoned for the sins, everything shifted away from the law of Moses,
Right.
which was actions that you had to do, sacrifices on the altar. This
Hmm.
seems to fit in with those ideas of physical things you had to do,
Yes. Yes, it does.
where we don't think about it that way because with Christ having come and fulfilling the law, we don't have to do them in that same way.
Right, and that's kind of what I'm saying. Is
Hmm.
it's confusing to me, but maybe not for them.
For them, right.
Because maybe that is actually how they have been taught and learned to make a covenant with God.
Okay. And I'm going to say, I don't think this is fully saying or even suggesting that we should just be vegetarians.
No,
No.
I don't think so.
No, because in other places it says you should eat of the meat
Yeah,
or the beast of everything is for you. So,
yeah,
and for you to eat. So,
yeah.
interesting. All right.
Yes. Okay.
13.
Yes, ma'am.
And do thou command the children of Israel to eat no blood, so that their names and their seed may be before the Lord our God continually. And for this law there is no limit of days, for it is forever. They shall observe it throughout their generations, so that they may continue supplicating on your behalf with blood before the altar. Every day and at time of morning and evening they shall seek forgiveness on your behalf perpetually before the Lord, that they may keep it and not be rooted out. And he gave to Noah and his sons a sign that there should not again be a flood on the earth. So it feels like that the Lord here is being very serious about this rule.
Yeah, and it seems like he is placing Noah
Mhm.
as the
Head keeper of the law.
uh, yeah, it's like they shall seek forgiveness on your behalf perpetually. So, is there like a reason that Noah has to continually be asked forgiveness for? It's kind of like the children, uh, uh, other churches baptizing children to be forgiven for the original sin. It almost seems like the same thing here. I can see you're looking something up.
I am, because I have, and you would probably know this, um that what actually happens if you drink animal or human blood. And so I thought really quickly, oh my gosh, what does happen? Um and so I thought I'm just going to look it up really quick here. Um so one, the blood actually can carry foodborne illnesses,
Yes.
and in small quantities it's one thing, but chowing down on a medium rare steak or blood sausage link usually won't have any ill effects, though food poisoning can still be a concern. Um, Ingesting raw blood in any significant quantity could be dangerous, especially if the blood wasn't collected hygienically. It's prone to bacterial growth. So ingesting a lot, you could have uh it could cause you to vomit, it could cause a lot of different problems within your body.
Yeah.
So like, really, it is not a good thing to do. So he's gonna say the Lord started at the beginning and said, since you guys eat animals now and don't just till the earth. And I got this from Healthline website online. Just
Hmm.
I always like to let people know where I get things. Um, so that to me is like, yeah, he was serious about making sure that the blood was only used for the altars.
Yeah.
Only. Okay, Myrna.
All right.
Is it? Oh, and we're gonna have, of course, the sign.
Yeah.
So
And he set his bow in the cloud for a sign of the eternal covenant that there should not again be a flood on the earth to destroy it all the days of the earth. For this reason, it is ordained and written on the heavenly tablets that they should celebrate the Feast of Weeks in this month once a year to renew the covenant every year. And I think we should end there.
okay.
Here we start to get into more detail that we'll want to talk
Up
about.
next time
Yeah, we don't
about
want.
how they celebrate it.
Yeah, we don't want to make this huge long
No.
video, but yeah. So there you go. Noah, I guess, is the new Adam.
Yes, I it everything points to it, and even though in my own research and understanding, that what do we call them, dispensations,
Mm-hmm.
that there's a dispensation of Adam and a dispensation of Noah, and I feel like in these verses here you actually see that change over,
Yeah,
that these things are put upon him, he now has dominion, he now has, and that it's that he's the one who has that.
yeah.
So I like seeing that process here.
And okay, I'm going there.
Okay, go
Um,
there, Myrna. Go.
you know that Adam's uh, garment um, was passed down to the family. Um,
That Adam's garment was
yes, was
passed
passed
down.
down to the family. And so it kind of seems to me that as
Why do I
Noah,
know that?
do you not know that?
I've never heard that before.
Actually, it shows up in one of the other apocrypha, um,
Oh,
and it's been talked about in some other stuff I've watched. But it kind of seems to me that this is a way of ceremonially giving him um, the garment of the priesthood, basically, um, to Noah in starting the human race over again. So I kind of wonder if this was a ceremony in which he was given
Oh.
that. And I kind of
So
wonder if that's.
I will tell you that I just typed into Google Adam's garment was passed down in the Bible. And
Mm-hmm,
interestingly enough, the garment of Adam in Jewish, Muslim, and Christian tradition, written by BYU Scholars Archive.
mm-hmm,
And it says it was the garment passed through the generations from Seth to Noah that was worn by Noah when he sacrificed on an altar. It was one of the items that Noah saved and carried with him in the ark.
yeah.
Okay, there you go. So I'd never heard that, Myrna. New things.
Yeah. And so it kind of reminds me of this possibly being that ceremonial moment in which, in
Right,
reality,
where it was
from God, he was given all the
right.
powers and dominion and
Mhm.
all of these things to jumpstart again the human
The
race.
human race. Interesting. I kind of like that as a something physical being passed down because we know that the Lord made the garment for him,
Mm-hmm.
and we know that the sword of Laban never was tarnished, even though it
Mm-hmm.
was around for a very long time and ended up in Joseph Smith's hands
Yes.
from the Book of Mormon. And so we know that there are objects like that that don't diminish, and that would be one of them to me.
Yeah.
Like
Mm-hmm.
here, it's now being passed, and of course, it would be from Seth
Yeah.
because he's directly a descendant of Seth.
Right. And from what we read, I think Seth was the righteous one
Yes, he was the righteous one
of
of
the
them.
and the oldest.
Yeah. Yes, he was.
The oldest righteous one that was kind of the leader of the family.
Right.
So yeah.
Interesting. I wouldn't have put that together, Myrna. Way to go. I
All
think
right.
all in all, this has been so fascinating. We've gone into the weeds and vampires. We've gone to these visions. I'm telling you, I read that and immediately I saw Carrie with the blood being dropped. But this command of don't eat of the blood is not good for you people. It's not
Mhm.
good for your body. And here the Lord is telling you it's not. So I'm going to trust him on that one.
I wonder how our English friends would feel because can they now still have their blood sausage?
Yeah. Well, even the blood sausage is cooked, right? It's made with blood. But I'm going to suggest maybe you shouldn't
Yeah.
because they have it over in the Nordic countries too, like Finland and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. They do. Yeah.
So I'm
Anyway,
like,
I'm just
hmm.
saying.
They also have blood pancakes.
Yeah.
So maybe not.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. Maybe there is something to it.
Yeah.
I find it interesting. We don't always know, right?
Right.
What it is, but here we go. Way to
All
go,
right.
Noah.
Well, we'll finish 6.
Yep, we
I
will
think
finish
we'll be able to
6.
finish 6 next time.
Yes, and talk about the celebration.
Yes. 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 All right.
Okay.
Well, thanks for coming. If you like
Thank you
this,
for coming.
hit the like button, subscribe,
All the buttons.
comment, and continue the discussion. We love just going through all of this stuff and throwing out our thoughts and throw yours out back at us and let's have a
Yep.
discussion.
Cool.
Until then, bye.